Welcome, everybody. I'm Neil Cavuto. And what do you say if you're a Republican and the leaders of your own party in the House are saying the debt is no immediate crisis? Well, you go nuts, because to hear Mark Levin tell it, John Boehner and Paul Ryan just proved it. They're not only rhinos on this crisis. Mr. Levin says they're in bed with the president ignoring this crisis. The constitutional lawyer, best-selling author, talk show host extraordinaire, Mark Levin, on the phone with us right now. Mark, what do you make of this?
You know, it is extremely frustrating if you're an average citizen sitting out here watching this. Last year, when you count fiscal operating debt and unfunded liabilities, it wasn't $1.2 trillion. It was $6.9 trillion being spent that we don't have. And I even hear some pundits circling the wagon saying this isn't a fiscal debt crisis yet. Well, what do we have to do? Become Cyprus or Greece for people to recognize this? We have tens of trillions of dollars in unfunded entitlement obligations. Even the Ryan budget does nothing with respect to Social Security. On Obamacare, the Ryan budget takes the taxes while repealing Obamacare. What's happening now is that even the complete integrity of our financial system is being called into question. We have the Fed printing day and night to provide the monetary support for these fiscal policies. And to hear Republicans say, the Speaker of the House say, that this is not an immediate debt crisis, then what the hell does one look like?
You know, it makes you examine, were they trying to say or calm people down to thinking that, you know, that we're not going to fold like this hour or this day. But by saying not immediate and agreeing with the president, they've given him a negotiating edge, have they not? In other words, the president says this isn't really like a right-now threat. Up to now, they've been saying this is a right-now threat.
I don't think Boehner believes it is. I think he's been around a long time. I think he's participated in this for a long time. I don't think he views this as a crisis, and it is a crisis. You know, Paul Ryan was on my program over a year ago, and he said, we have about 2 years. Well, that's over a year ago, so I guess we have about 10 months. And I'm surprised that Paul Ryan's saying the same thing. Here's the thing. Of course they give Obama political advantage, but they also take the heat off themselves. If they said, yes, we're facing an immediate debt crisis, people would demand that when the debt ceiling issue comes up, that they actually do something. So they're taking responsibility off their own shoulders. The Republicans are schizophrenic. And they're schizophrenic in that they claim to be the fiscal conservatives, and they're not. At least Obama's consistent. He's a radical leftist, and he acts and spends like a radical leftist.
Do you think that there is something more than just symbolism to these remarks, and the fact that it was both the Speaker and the House Budget Chief, in fact, the former vice presidential candidate for Republicans, saying that, you know, this is tough, but it's not immediately tough, that these are the folks who voted, obviously, for the last deal that you know, prompted taxes to go up. So it's a face-saving gesture as much as it is wherever we're going from here gesture.
They voted for every deal, as a matter of fact. They've negotiated every deal, as a matter of fact. And so for all the talk, the fact of the matter is Obama's into this about $6 trillion during his watch, and so are the Republicans in the House. They're maybe not the first 2 years, but the rest. But what have they effectively done? You know, I look at my Constitution. That's what they're supposed to look at. All spending bills, all tax bills are to come out of the House of Representatives, all of them. And then they say they don't have any power. When Boehner announces we're not going to shut down the government, when it was shut down for 3 weeks when Newt Gingrich was trying to control Bill Clinton and his spending, he's given up all his cards. When Boehner goes on TV and says we're not facing an immediate debt crisis, he's giving up all his cards. Boehner does not want the responsibility of actually doing anything about this, but he likes being Speaker.
Do you think there's something like this at play, that they're looking at the next deal? You know, the end of this month, we're facing yet another potential crisis. The argument goes that the government could shut down and we run out of money. You've heard all this again. And this is their attempt to say, we won't bring it to that type of brinksmanship because we don't want it on our doorstep, that we caused it. But in fact, it's boomerang on themselves, because you could argue after sequestration, Mark, they suddenly retook the upper hand in this argument. Now they're giving it away.
That's exactly right. Sequestration, you know, was passed a year and a half ago, or part of their plan a year and a half ago. All the Republicans had to do a few weeks ago is keep their mouth shut and stay out of the way. Thank God they did that. But here we go again. We're up to a limit. I mean, If they're not going to stand up now to Obama and this absolute mindless spending and borrowing and printing, then I have to say, Neil, what the hell good are they? And I'm going to tell you, I'm not alone in this. The Republicans putting out a statement today, compassionate conservatism or whatever they're trying to rebrand themselves as, if they don't get serious and substantive and start to take affirmative steps to bring this government under control, the Republican Party is going to go down. I'm telling you that right now.
Well, they obviously punted a little bit over the weekend, so we'll see. Mark Levin, always a pleasure. Thank you.